Most of us can't remember how we learnt to read. It's just something we do automatically and without thinking. So when our children start to learn phonics at school, it can be a little bewildering, which is why I've put together this short video. When you know what phonics is and how it's taught at school, you can better help your child at home with their reading and spelling. Let's start at the very beginning and think about what writing actually is. For most of our history, people didn't use written language. But at some point, people realised that they needed to find a way to pass on messages, share stories, and record important information when they couldn't speak to someone directly or immediately. So writing was invented as a way of fixing or recording information. At first, people thought about drawing pictures to represent what they wanted to say. But that doesn't work very well because it's always open to interpretation and just isn't precise enough. Then people thought about the actual words we say, how we speak. They noticed that spoken words are made up of sounds that we push together as we say them. We hardly notice the separate sounds when we speak, but if we listen carefully, we can work out what they are. The technical name of a sound in a spoken word is phoneme. Surprisingly, there are only 44 phonemes or sounds in English. We put them together in different combinations to say different words. The average number of words we know is around 20,000. In the written word, each of the phonemes or sounds in the spoken word is represented by a letter, or sometimes a group of letters working together. Let's think about cats. The spoken word cat is made up of 3 sounds or phonemes. K, a, t. We represent each of these sounds by single letters, like this. K, a, t. The technical name for a letter or a group of letters that represent a sound is grapheme. So let's get technical for a moment. I've just mentioned that the technical term for a sound in a spoken word is phoneme, and the technical term for a letter or a group of letters that represent a sound in a written word is grapheme. Some programs use these terms and some don't. I prefer to keep it simple. I use the term sound instead of phoneme. Instead of grapheme, I use the term sound spelling, which describes what it does, so children find it easy to understand and remember. Other programs may refer to them as spellings. English is known to have the most complicated written language, and here's one reason why. Not all graphemes or sound spellings are made up of just one letter. In the word man, there are 3 sounds, m, a, n. So we can expect to find 3 graphemes or sound spellings, which we do, and there are 3 letters in the word. In the word boat, there are 3 sounds, b, o, t. So we can expect to find 3 graphemes or sound spellings, which we do. But there are 4 letters in this word, because the middle grapheme is made up of 2 letters. In the word light, there are also 3 sounds, l, I, t. So we can expect to find 3 graphemes or sound spellings, which we do. But there are 5 letters in this word, because the middle grapheme is made up of 3 letters. In the word wait, There are also 3 sounds, oo, a, t. So once again we can expect to find 3 graphemes or sound spellings, which we do. But there are 6 letters in this word because the middle grapheme is made up of 4 letters. Another thing that makes written English more complicated is that some sounds are represented by more than 1 grapheme. The words boat, toe, go, grow and nose all have an O sound in. But notice how the highlighted sound spelling used to write the sound O are different in each word. And there are even more sound spellings than this. So, writing is like a code that children need to crack and know how to use to read and spell. Children can't crack the code themselves. They need to be taught it. To read, children decode the word. They look at each grapheme one by one and match a phoneme for each. As they work through the word from left to right, they push the phonemes together and say what word they hear forming. This is called blending. Here's a word. The child looks at each grapheme and says the sounds t, r, e. At the same time, they push the sounds together and listen for the word forming. Tree, tree. To spell, children do the opposite and encode the word. They think about the word they want to write and then work out what the phonemes are one by one. This is called segmenting. For each phoneme they match and write a grapheme and so spell the word. Imagine a child wants to write the word cash. Cash has 3 phonemes or sounds, k, a, sh. They match a grapheme or sound spelling for each sound, k, a, sh. Phonics is about knowing all the phonemes and their graphemes and being able to blend and segment for reading and spelling. Noticing and talking about sounds and letters or phonemes and graphemes can help your child with their reading and spelling. So, how can you help? When your child comes to a word they're not sure about when they're reading, encourage them to look at the word, point to it and track across with their finger. Spot the sound spellings, that's letters and groups of letters. Match a sound to each sound spelling. Blend the sounds as they work through the word. Listen for the word forming and say what the word is. Let's look at some examples. This is what reading looks like and sounds like in the early stages of learning to read. With practice, it becomes automatic and much quicker. Mom, mom. Dad, dad. Frog, frog. Snail, snail. Night, night. So, how can you help your child with spelling? When your child isn't sure how to spell a word, encourage them to think about the word they want to spell. Segment or split up the word into its sounds and that means saying the sounds in the word one by one. Then write a grapheme or sound spelling to match each sound, and then look back and check their work. Let's look at some examples. Imagine a child wants to spell the word bug. There are 3 sounds in the word bug, b, o, g. So we need to write 3 sound spellings. B, o, g. Imagine a child wants to spell the word fish. There are 3 sounds in the word fish. F, I, sh. So we need to write 3 sound spellings. F, I, sh. Imagine a child wants to spell the word learns. There are 4 sounds in the word learns. L, n, z. So we need to write 4 sound spellings. L, n, z. So remember, you can help your child at home with their reading and spelling by thinking about the phonics. Talk about the sounds and sound spellings in words. Help them to blend sounds when reading and segment words when spelling. For more information about phonics and the Phonics for SEN programme particularly, please follow these links. Thank you for listening.